Let's now move on to Ivory Coast, where talks between the government and teachers who are on strike came to a dead end on Monday, but this time with the government not budging. For the last month, primary and secondary schools have been hit by a strike by teachers who have submitted several complaints to the government. Negotiations began last week, but since Monday, government has refused to continue talks with the striking teachers. So what are the issues on ground between them and why have talks come to a halt?
Eh bien, on va poser la question.
To talk more about it, Pakome Atabi, spokesman of the COSEFC union, now joins us online. Hello, Atabi. The government has suspended negotiations with you, arguing that it no longer wants to discuss with you. What do you make of it?
Nous pensons que c'est une décision irresponsable, en ce sens qu'il revient au gouvernement.
We believe that this is an irresponsible decision in the sense that it is up to the government to find a way out of the crisis. We condemn this unilateral way of ending the discussions. There are two organizations that are struggling and paralyzing schools in Côte d'Ivoire. And these two organizations include 24 grassroots organizations. There is only one union which is affiliated to the government in power, which is trying to create a misunderstanding in the minds of its comrades on the ground. It is an ultra-minority union that was not on strike when the government opened the dialogue table. We should have asked in advance about its participation, but we let it happen, and it is precisely this union that is trying to cause trouble in the minds of the public. So the organizations that have closed all schools in Côte d'Ivoire are on strike and do not intend to be distracted by these maneuvers.
Let us look at your demands, really. Could you tell us some of these demands that the government have been unable to meet?
The very first demand relates to our housing allowances. In Côte d'Ivoire, teachers and college professors currently earn an allowance of 40,000 francs. High school teachers have 50,000 francs. The average studio here in Côte d'Ivoire costs 100,000 francs. So we ask the state to increase these allowances so we can afford decent housing. It's understood that the state itself is struggling to put the sector in order. The second demand is the abolition of Wednesday classes. Moreover, it is a reform that did not exist in Côte d'Ivoire that was copied from the West and introduced in our educational system 3 years ago, and this reform has shown its limit. We are therefore asking for the simple removal of these Wednesday primary classes. The third demand centers on school examination allowances. Since 2000, we are paid 100 francs for each 6th grade entrance exam we mark. Comparison is not good, but if you look at next door Burkina Faso, our colleagues earn 200 francs for the same job. So we ask for a doubling of all these allowances, taking into account the cost of living. Last question, Atabi. Is the blank year still avoidable with the suspension of negotiations?
We
rely on the government's sense of responsibility. It cannot get up one morning and leave the dialogue table and abandon things as they are. So we call on the government to come back to the table, but this time with personalities who are more deliberated, because the ones that the government sent to us were pedagogical technicians, while the problems that we've raised here are not pedagogical. Our thought is not to go to a blank year, but as long as our concerns do not find a satisfactory solution, we'll stay at this level. We are determined to go all the way to end our struggle. Atabi, thank you for granting us this interview. That was Pakome Atabi, spokesman for the COSEFC union, who spoke about the teachers' strike in Côte d'Ivoire.
If you're just joining us, you're watching the Morning Call live for you in English and in French. On our website, you can also watch this broadcast live and get the latest stories from across the continent and elsewhere. Please log on www.africanews.com. Now, still to come on the program. We take you to a street on Libya's second largest city, Benghazi, Venice Street it is called, as a shopping street born of the ashes of conflict. So what do we find there on the street, and why is it attracting so much attention? Plus, it's victory for FC Barcelona, Real Madrid, Osasuna Pamplona, and Athletic Bilbao as they win the fight against the European Commission over tax benefits that they enjoyed from 1990 to 2015. More on this and much more after the break. Barbara and I will be right back with you. Stay with us.